Day 3 of protests.
So we're just out here to press the issue that we want Officer Fister fired. We don't feel safe with him back on the street.
Dashcam video of the November 26th officer-involved shooting prompted weekend demonstrations near the Paradise Police Department. But there's a new location for Day 3, the District Attorney's office.
We should feel safe. I don't want to be afraid to be pulled over in my car and be shot.
Protests calling to have Officer Fister removed from the force are now focusing attention on Mike Ramsey, the longest-standing district attorney in California.
But protesters got an unexpected reaction from the DA. In fact, they got an invitation to view the video frame by frame.
Ramsey allowed questions and went into painstaking detail on how he reached his conclusion.
They have a right to be upset. We were.
But emotions, he says, cannot play into the decision-making process.
It's not a matter that we're just choosing not to charge the officer just because he's an officer, but that the law doesn't allow us under the circumstances of an accidental or negligent discharge of the weapon that does not result in death.
Officer Patrick Fister was on patrol early Thanksgiving morning when he watched a suspected drunk driver speed out of the Cantina bar in Paradise. That driver, Andrew Thomas, who had a blood alcohol level of 0.15, was involved in an accident flipping his car. His estranged wife, Darien Ehorn, was ejected and died on scene. When Thomas tried to exit out of the passenger side window, he was shot in the neck once.
There was no second shot. The flashlight that's under the gun's barrel flashes on the expended gases from the gun, which gives an optical illusion of a second shot.
Because it was a felony stop, the officer was by law allowed to draw his gun. As to why Officer Fister waited so long to tell authorities about firing.
The 11 minutes of waiting to notify is awful. It is below what we expect of our officers, but I have to look only at, is it a crime? And it isn't.
Demonstrators, thankful for the opportunity, say those answers aren't enough.
We feel he's trying to make it look like he's being transparent. He's trying to work with us. We feel like it's a show, honestly.
The car he's following violently flips, a passenger thrown out and fatally injured. And in just moments, you'll see Officer Fister walk from the left into frame of the dashboard camera mounted on his own cruiser. He walks in and shoots.
Well, thank God the press got that tape out of you and pried it out. And I says, sir, I'm the one that released the tape.
This is the man who has decided Officer Fister won't face charges for shooting 26-year-old Andrew Thomas that day.
We knew we were going to take a great deal of criticism.
But Butte County District Attorney Mike Ramsey says he can only come to one conclusion, that Officer Fister fired his Glock service pistol by accident. He goes over the video with me again, frame by frame. At full speed, it looks like Officer Fister fires twice. But Ramsey says once the video is slowed down, you can tell what looks like a second muzzle flash is actually a flashlight.
That's right there.
Beneath the trigger guard.
Right underneath.
Attached to the bottom of the weapon, reflecting off exhaust gases and dust. So there's only one shot that drops Andrew Thomas. Thomas, who has himself just caused an accident that killed his wife. He'll face manslaughter charges for it. But Ramsey says he can't charge Officer Fister for accidentally shooting a man who will survive, but may never walk again. Just because it's an accident, does that make it legal?
It doesn't make it legal, but it doesn't give us a crime.
Accident or act of aggression, whatever was in Officer Fister's mind, it's important to not let that overshadow the fact that a woman lost her life in this incident to injuries she got before the gun was ever unholstered.
And she was like one of those people who's so naturally beautiful, and that she glowed with her spirit. So
Ehorn was thrown from the car in the accident, and in this video lays at Officer Fister's feet, dying. He's looking down, but Ramsey says he's not looking at her. In fact, Officer Fister never interacts with her at all. Instead, he's looking for his spent shell casing. And in fact, it will be 11 minutes before the officer tells other responding units, including his supervisor, that he's fired his weapon.
The important issue is, did he willfully, intentionally, purposefully pull that trigger or not?